Here we go. The Pebble Beach Pro-Am signature event. Big names, a lot of money. Here's everything you need to know.
The Shank reports your secret key to smashing odds like pros on TV.
Before we dive into the course, the field, the stats, make sure if you do want to bet on this, and if you don't want to take traditional outrights, you can join my splash pool. It's a $10 entry. You pick 5 golfers from 5 tiers. I'm going to walk you through the process. We'll talk about each tier in this video, what golfers I like at that position. Again, $10 to join. The top 3 entries get paid. We got close to 20 last week. Winner walked away with over $120. I, of course, did not place, but we got another chance this week. So let's break down Pebble Beach. Our first signature event of the year. There is no cut. Only 80 golfers, and we do have the return of our king, the return of our sweet, sweet prince. Scotty Scheffler is in the field, along with a couple other big guns. We got Rory, we got Morikawa, we got Ludwig, we got JT, Matsuyama, Tommy Fleetwood, Jason Day, Hovland's coming back, Zalatoris, McNeely, Sepp Straka, Jordan Spieth making his return from his wrist surgery. Big field with well-known names. I'm super excited, so let's dive in. Just a quick little background of the course. It is very short, and being able to smack it off the tee is not a huge advantage at all on this course. It's a very short course. People lay up on par 4s. It's all about accuracy. It's all about approach shots. It's all about around the green, sand saves, scrambling, putting, very small greens. So putting is going to be important as well as approach shots. So big drivers like Rory, Grazerman, other guys out there are really not going to have a huge advantage for being able to smack the ball further because you just can't do it. So with that, some important stats I just kind of talked about them. Driving accuracy is what I looked at. The ability to scramble because these greens are small, so the ability to get up and down is going to be big. It's all about the approach shot this week. It's the most important shot. So I looked at specifically 75 to 100 yards out, as well as 100 to 150 yards out. Wouldn't be terrible to look at sand saves and then putting on Poana grass and putting 10 to 15 feet because, again, small greens. So those are the stats I looked at. I did just get a new little website that I bought a subscription to. It's Rick Rungood. He has a great site over there. I only bought it for 6 months. It's like $120. I'm not going to bet golf in August. So it gets all of the majors and everything important. So I did just get that subscription. So I am using that for a little bit of data. So let's get into it here. Let's talk about the top golfers real quick. Those are all in green, and those are our tier 1 golfers. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler making his return. He is plus 450 to win this outright. I'm not taking that. The only time I'll ever take Scotty to win is a major because it's fun, and I want to root for him to win as many majors as possible. But plus 450 is terrible odds with a field of 80 people. The favorite should at least be 10 to 1, even if it is Scotty Scheffler. With that being said, he is making his return from supposedly lacerating his palm during Christmas Day dinner or lunch or something. So people are kind of freaking out about that. He needed surgery to get some glass out. I love golf. I'm terrible at it. I respect the hell out of professional golfers, but come on. He's fine. I slit my hand in half trying to be blood brothers with a college buddy, and then max hang clean the next morning. It was fine. You just put some tape on it. Obviously, let's not overreact. He's a fantastic golfer. He's going to be fine. So don't worry about his little injury. He's the best in every single statistic out there. On this subscription that I just bought, you can put in all these different factors. He is number 1 no matter what factors you look at, what factors you combine. He's always number 1. He's that good. So yeah, if you want to take Scotty, I don't hate it. Rory, like I said, big drives are just not a factor here. And I think he's just going to struggle not being able to do that. He's also getting there late. He's playing in that TPL league, that Tiger Woods league, I think today as well. So he's not getting there till late. It's just a guy that I don't really feel like betting. Love Colin Morikawa. Good course history. Great driving accuracy. Doesn't hit it very far, but he hits it straight. Putting's pretty solid. Very good scrambler. Very good approach shots. Colin, I love Colin. So if that's a guy you want to pick, go ahead. JT, I'm not going to bet JT, which means he's going to finish in the top 5. But I don't trust him. I don't think his mental is all the way there. I think he gets frustrated and it ruins his game. Kind of a Jordan Spieth type of guy. Makes sense. They're best buddies. But I'm just not a huge fan of JT, which again means he's going to go off this week. I can't hit a JT bet right. Again, all these guys in green are the tier 1 guys over in that Splash Sports contest. So you get to pick one of these guys and then obviously a 1 in tier 2, 1 in tier 3, 4 and 5, etc. Obviously the tier 1 is the best, and they're the top 10 favorites as well. So we're just quickly talking about the big boys here. Like Ludwig quite a bit. I know he sucked last week after starting amazing the first day. Had a down day 2, and then completely fell off day 3 and 4. Supposedly, you know how these golfers get. Was throwing up, wasn't feeling good. Same thing with Max Homa. We'll talk about him shortly. I get it. It sucks being sick. I had to cancel a golf a couple weeks ago because I was shitting my brains out and puking my brains out. So, yeah, it's no fun, but I don't know. So I guess that was his issue. I would not be afraid at all to jump back on Ludwig this week. I think he's going to really contend. Again, great course history here. 2, he's second in the field in course history. Pretty solid off the drive. Putting's okay. Great scrambler. Great approach shot. Yeah, I mean, Ludwig's going to be a great option here. Patrick Cantlay, I don't bet him just because I think he's terrible for the sport. We need a guy that I just don't root for him. So, yeah, he's probably a solid option. I'm just not going to get there. Matsuyama's playing the best golf of the year right now. The dude's great. The dude's absolutely phenomenal. Had a couple bad days last week, but a couple very good plays as well. So he's, I think, a very safe choice, and I think he really can contend. So if you don't want to get a square by taking Scotty or Rory or Colin or JT, then maybe you can take Hideki. But again, I think he might be pretty public just because he is on fire right now. Sungjae Im, I bet on him 2 weeks ago. He sucked. Did not bet him last week. He was amazing. Just kind of that guy I'm not going to ever get right, so I'm not going to bet him. Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood is up here. Very high in the odds, too. Plus 3,000 on DraftKings. This dude doesn't have a PGA Tour start since September, so he's been a little MIA, but he's been killing it in the Euro Tour. Going very under the radar. I think he's playing very good golf. I don't know how that's going to translate to the PGA, to the Pebble Beach, but he's going to be fine, I think. So I'm not going to take him, but I really think he's going to have a top 10 finish this week. Sam Burns, I actually really, really like. He just seems like the obvious guy on here that doesn't belong. I know he's 3,500 to win it outright. Great history, great accuracy, great putting. I mean, he's a really solid choice. He just seems like he doesn't quite fit the caliber of golfers in that tier 1. So, honestly, a great sleeper pick there. He could get it done. I don't hate him at all. Let's go into the tier 2. Tier 2 is very, very tricky here. There's just not that many good names. Like, tier 2 is a little weird here. Obviously, we have Tony Finau, Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland, Keegan Bradley, who played pretty solid last week. Taylor Pendrith, who I was betting on last week. I had him as my tier 1 guy. Did great. I thought I was a bad pick with everyone picking Ludwig, and Ludwig, like I said, was unreal round 1. But Pendrith actually beat him by like 9 strokes. It was a really solid pick. Grazerman is a very hot new name, but the problem with him, and also kind of the problem with Rory, same issue, is he's just extremely long off the tee. And that's what makes him great so far. He's just destroying drives and good enough approach shots, but again, you can't do that at Pebble, so I'm not super sold on him. I know a lot of people are on him. McIntyre's never played at Pebble. Henley, I mean, maybe. I mean, his stats are really good here. 2 on driving accuracy, 23 putting, 27 scrambling, 8 on approach, 24 on strokes gained on approach. I mean, there's really no big name for tier 2. I'm a little interested in why Splash did it with these guys, but I think this is where we're going to make our money here. I debated either McIntyre or Hogard. Neither have ever played Pebble. Let me pull up Hogard real quick. So Hogard has been killing the Euro Open. Again, not a whole lot of PGA events. He did play the Scottish Open back in July. Played pretty solid. I mean, he's pretty solid on the putter, gained 5 strokes there, finished T21, but he's been killing this Euro League. A 14th at the Dubai Desert Classic, 2nd in the DP World Tour, 4th, a 1st at the Irish Open, 3rd at the British Masters. He is a very interesting pick here, and I just don't really know anything about him. He is killing the total strokes gain. Like, this guy is absolutely on fire. So that's kind of why he's interesting to me. He's plus 6,000, which is near the top for a guy that's just not that well known. I think in this tier, it's going to be a lot of Finaus, Lowrys, Javis, just because they're well-known names. So I really like Hogard. I really like McIntyre. Really great scrambler. Very good approach player. Like I said, this is a weird tier where I do think you can make some money here. But I would probably stay away from the well-known names and just take a shot on one of these lesser-known names here. So we just had tier 2 with a bunch of really not known guys, and then tier 3 is back to being pretty well known. Starting off with Jason Day, who is by far the highest in odds. He's plus 3,500, which is, I think, makes him like the top 10 in overall odds, and you can get him at tier 3. Tom Kim, Sepp Straka, Adam Scott, Denny McCarthy, Harry Hall, JT Poston, Ben Griffin, Aaron Rai, Byung Hun. But there's some pretty big names here. Obviously, the big name is Jason Day, who, like I said, is one of the highest odds to win it all, and by far the highest odds in this tier. I worry about Jason Day, though. He's playing great right now overall. Like, he's finishing tournaments great. He is putting terribly. Like, he is finishing tied for 32 in the Farmers, third for the Amex, fourth at the Century. No stats for this one, but look at his putting. Like, he's putting terribly, and he's still placing very, very well. Like, he's just doing really well at every other facet of his game except putting. So I do just worry that with a course that really puts a lot of emphasis on putting, that he might struggle. But like I said, if he is scoring this well without being able to putt, imagine if he figures out the putter this weekend. Like, he has a very good chance of winning it all if he figures out the putter. So I don't know what to do with Jason Day. I'm probably not going to play him just because of the inconsistencies, and I think it's kind of weird that he's in the tier 3 as one of the highest favorites. Adam Scott and Tom Kim both are playing in that TPL league with Tiger Woods. I don't really know how that works. If anyone knows how that works, I'll be all ears. But I don't love them just because they're getting in late. Aaron Rai is the most accurate driver on tour, but besides that, his game has really struggled. Ben Griffin, I was on him last week, and he absolutely sucks, so I'm probably not going to get back on him. I'm pretty interested in Sepp Straka and Denny McCarthy. I mean, Sepp is coming off a win at the Amex where he just destroyed the field. Very solid at the Sony, solid at the Century. He's been playing really good golf. His game's on right now. He's on. So he is a very good option at this tier. And then my boy Denny. He's been, for the most part, lights out with the putter. One bad tournament at the Century. But I don't know what it is about him. I like Denny quite a bit. He does well at Pebble. The last 3 rounds at Pebble, look at his putting. Tied for 12th, tied for 4th, tied for 26. I like Denny quite a bit. A lot. So there's some interesting names in here. And this is another one of those tiers where I think picking a little lesser of a name, I think, might be profitable here. So, again, I can't really complain if you're going to take Jason Day. He's doing really well even without the putter. If that putter gets hot, we're all screwed. Adam Scott's a great golfer. JT Poston's been pretty solid. Tom Kim, God, I love that cute little guy. He's been hot and is hot. So, yeah, I like the lesser names because I am probably going to take Scotty at tier 1. I got to take Scotty in his first round. So I do think there's some value from these little lesser names. This brings us to tier 4, which is the yellow here. A lot of big names as well in this tier. Wyndham Clark, Mav McNeely, Bo Hostler, Thigala, Bahadia, Harris English, who just won last weekend, JJ Spawn, who's been fantastic, Matt Fitzpatrick, Davis Thompson, Siwoo Kim. I mean, this is a very interesting tier 4. A lot of big names. Not a whole lot of under-the-radar guys. Wyndham Clark is... I don't know how much I like Wyndham. He seemed like he had one really good year, and I think that was 2 years ago. Struggled last year, and I just don't know if I'm going to back him. Mav McNeely is very interesting because this is his, technically, hometown. I don't know if it's his home course, but this dude grew up right down the road, has played it multiple times, is killing it this year. He's playing the best golf of his career right now. Yeah, I mean, he's just playing great. Didn't do well with the putter at the Farmers last week. Fantastic with the putter at the Sony. Won the RSM Classic in November. Tied for 8th at the Century. And then you just have to look at his history at Pebble. I mean, he's killing it for the most part. Kind of a little inconsistent here. Bad day with the putter 2 years ago. Didn't do well with the putter, but still finished tied 39th in 2024. Was second in 2021. Just absolutely killed the field here in putting and pretty much everything else. Tied for 33 in 2022 and then tied for 5th in 2020. This guy loves Pebble. He knows Pebble. He's familiar with Pebble, the hometown hero. I can't argue not taking Mav at all. Harris English, I think his stats are a little pumped because of that win last week where he played great. 21 on driving accuracy, 8 on putting, 8 on scrambling. Approach shots, not great. Fitzpatrick is just a boring guy. He's probably going to do well, but he's just so damn boring. Siwoo Kim has got to be the most inconsistent guy out there. If you mistakenly bet Kim, because there's like 7 Kims on the tour, you probably bet Siwoo and he probably got cut. At least that's my kind of history with Siwoo Kim. I can't bet Siwoo. Thigala's hitting the ball pretty well. Ashk is decent. Bo Hostler, great stats here. But yeah, my favorite in this one's got to be the hometown hero, which is also probably going to be one of the most public options for the tier 4 on the splash entries. And then that brings us to our last tier, and that is tier 5, and that is every other remaining golfer in the field. Again, not a super big field, just 80 golfers, so tier 5 is not super big, but every other tier has about 10 guys, and tier 5 has everyone else. So big names you need to know, or big names you'd recognize in tier 5. Obviously, Jordan Spieth, Will Zalatoris, Nick Taylor, Max Homa, Cam Young, Cam Davis, Ricky Fowler, Horschel, Lucas Glover, Gary Woodland. I mean, there's some pretty big names, but these are also going to be, look at the odds on these guys. These are 100 to 1, 350 to 1 for Eric Van Rooyen. These are the bottom of the totem pole for the most part, and again, a couple big names. Will Zalatoris found himself in here, which a lot of people are going to pick. He's only plus 4,500 to win it all, so he's near the top in odds. I'm just not super sold on Will. Again, he's going to be a super public pick for tier 5 just because he's well known. Also, Jordan Spieth is making his debut back from wrist surgery, which I believe he got in end of August or early September. So that wrist was really bugging him with his short game. So that is back. But again, Jordan is, him and JT are in the same boat with me. They are head cases. They seem to always do poorly when I bet them. I hope Jordan does well. I'm a huge Jordan Spieth fan. I also like JT quite a bit, but I have terrible luck betting both of those guys because I think they're very similar. And if they're feeling it, they're feeling it. And if they have one bad shot, say goodbye to the round. So I'll probably stay off Jordan. Again, he's probably going to be a pretty public guy here. Max Homa sucked last week. Again, he might have been dealing with a stomach bug. I'm not going to bet him. He'll probably have he can't do worse than last week, so he's going to be better than that. But I just don't really trust him. Cam Young I was on earlier this year, and he sucked. Ricky Fowler I'm not going to ever put money on. But again, I think we might be able to find some lesser names here. Bezzy is what I call him. Christian Bezunhout, whatever his name is. Great stats. 10 on course history. 51 on accuracy, 4 on putting, 10 on scrambling, 29 on approach, 53 on strokes gained on approach. Like him quite a bit. Mackenzie Hughes also number 1 in putting right now. A hot putter for Mackenzie. Everything else is not fantastic. Really good scrambler, though, which I do think will help him. Lucas Glover, God, I really don't like him, but he is pretty much a guaranteed top 20. That guy he's probably a pretty solid pick. Safe pick. Very safe pick. I'm not a safe guy, but he's a safe pick. Brendan Todd is at the top of nearly all these statistics, and this, I don't know how. He's terrible. He is one of the worst odds to win it. He's tied with the worst odds to win it. I don't know why. I'll show you my model at the end here. I don't know why he's at the top. It's crazy. But yeah, this is dive into a couple of these names. I wouldn't recommend taking some of the more well-known because they are going to be pretty popular. But if you went a little out of the box for the other tiers, maybe this is the time to take a Will Zalatoris or potentially a Max Homa. I'm still not going to get Spieth. I want to wait to see how he does with that wrist. But yeah, dig into a couple of these guys. I think you might be able to find some diamonds in the rough here. Now, this might be a little confusing, but I did run a model again on that new subscription I bought, rickrungood.com. I bought the 6-month pass. It's like $130 or something. But I ran a model with pretty much all of the main statistics I'm looking at weighed equally. Driving accuracy, putting, scrambling, approach shots, strokes gained on approach, course history, course fit, that kind of thing. And this is my model. And again, like I said at the beginning of the show, you can put in whatever stats you want, make them whatever weights you want. Scotty is always going to be number 1. So to no surprise, Scotty's number 1 here. Again, according to my model. Morikawa, number 2. Ludwig, number 3. Again, no surprise, a couple tier 1 guys. Tommy is at 5. We got Russell Henley sneaking his way up there, a tier 2 guy. I don't know about Russ. His stats are great. He fits the model. This is also my first week running the model, so I don't know how accurate it is or how much weight I should give it, but Russell Henley up there. And this is why I kind of lean Denny McCarthy. We got a tier 3 guy up at the top 6. I mean, I love that. Again, look at his stats. 2 in putting, 4 in scrambling. Great driving accuracy, good course fit. Not the greatest approach, but not terrible. And Brendan Todd, again, the guy I don't know how he finds his way at the top of all my models here, but again, tied for dead nuts last in odds to win it all. Finds himself at 8, but do not bet him. There's my boy Bezzy, Lucas Glover, like I said, the top 20 merchant here. Our first tier 4 with Pahadia and McNeely near the top here. Higher than a lot of tier 1 guys. Pahadia is higher than JT and Sam Burns, Sanjay Im, Hideki and Rory. So maybe he could be a sneaky little pick for you. Again, I like Mav quite a bit. I like the hometown hero. I was on Mav last year quite a bit, and he did win me a lot of placement money. So I got to back my boy. I do like Mav. But yeah, that tier 2, that tier 2 is just weird. Russell Henley at the top. You got Robert McIntyre, like I said, I liked. Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Finau, Bradley, Pendrith. Like these guys, it's a weird tier. It's a very weird tier. I'm trying to figure out who to bet on that tier 2. Yeah, I just don't know. That tier 2 is going to be weird. But if you do want to build your own models and see different stats, this was way easier than the research I normally do getting the subscription. If you do want that, make sure you do check that out. I'll have the link in my bio if you want that. And lastly, before you guys go, make sure if you do want to bet this tiers challenge as opposed to just betting outright winners, top 20 winners, all that stuff, you can join the Pebble Beach Tiers Challenge over here on Splash Sports. Like I said, $10 to enter. If we do fill it, $900 in prizes. Pays the top 3. So if that's what you want to do, I do have an entry already in there. We only have 2 guys. This will get closer to 20, if not 30, come tee off on Thursday. So if you do want in, it'll probably be like $150 to the winner. But yeah, $10 entry. I really enjoy it. I've done it the last 3 weeks. Have yet to make any money, but it is fun. And also other tiers challenge. We have the Super Bowl coming up if you want to join these. That is on Splash Sports, like I said. I will have my top 20s picked and posted over on my Twitter if you do want to bet those. But I think this tier challenge and this way of betting golf in the tiers version is a fun way to get behind it. So make sure you do, if you want to get in, check out the link in the bio, Splash Sports, to enter the Pebble Beach tiers challenge. But until then, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you did watch, I'm going to try to have more golf videos. I really enjoy talking golf and researching golf. So we'll have a lot more videos. And we did just have our first profitable week of the season last week. So I'm excited to talk about more PGA. Good luck if you are betting this tournament. And until then, guys, we'll see you next week.
In the week ahead, it's all green grass. We're a preview buzzing while the golfers pass. The Shank Report with witty flair. Best bets on swings that split the air. Before we shout and place those bets, whispers of wood and driver threats. The Shank Report's your secret key to smashing odds like pros on tees.